Have you ever wondered what it's like to come face to face with a creature that hasn't changed in over 200 million years? What if I told you there's an animal alive today that outlived the dinosaurs, can take down prey in seconds, and has one of the most powerful bites on Earth? Crocodiles are ancient, mysterious, and far more complex than most people realize. But how well do you really know them? Are they mindless killers or misunderstood survivors? Let's find out. Crocodiles are among the most fascinating and ancient creatures on Earth. Their lineage stretches back over 200 million years, making them living relics of the Mesozoic era. They were once contemporaries of the dinosaurs and have survived mass extinctions, climatic shifts, and drastic changes in ecosystems. These reptiles are apex predators in their environments, displaying a combination of stealth, strength, and evolutionary perfection that has allowed them to thrive in various regions across the globe. Despite their primitive appearance, crocodiles are incredibly complex animals with sophisticated behaviors, unique biology, and significant ecological importance. There are 24 recognized species of crocodilians, including true crocodiles, alligators, caimans, and the gharial. The term crocodile generally refers to members of the family Crocodilidae, which includes species like the Nile crocodile, saltwater crocodile, and American crocodile. Each of these species occupies different regions and habitats, yet they all share key physical and behavioral traits that make them instantly recognizable. Crocodiles have long V-shaped snouts, muscular bodies covered in armored scales called scutes, and strong jaws filled with conical teeth. They can grow to impressive sizes, with the saltwater crocodile being the largest living reptile, reaching lengths of over 20 feet and weights exceeding 2,000 pounds. Crocodiles are semi-aquatic and are most often found in freshwater habitats such as rivers, lakes, marshes, and swamps. Although some species like the saltwater crocodile can tolerate brackish and marine environments, their bodies are perfectly adapted for life in the water. Their eyes, ears, and nostrils are positioned on top of their heads, allowing them to remain nearly completely submerged while still sensing their surroundings. Their powerful tails propel them through water with great speed and agility, making them formidable ambush predators. On land, they may appear sluggish, but crocodiles are capable of surprisingly quick bursts of speed over short distances. A key to the crocodile's predatory success is its stealth and patience. Crocodiles are ambush hunters, often lying in wait for hours, sometimes even days, until the perfect moment to strike. They rely on their camouflage, remaining almost entirely submerged and motionless in murky waters. When a prey animal approaches the water to drink or cross, the crocodile launches itself with explosive power, seizing the victim with its massive jaws. Once caught, the prey is usually dragged underwater and drowned. If the prey is too large to swallow whole, crocodiles use a technique called the death roll, where they spin their bodies violently to tear chunks of flesh. The bite force of a crocodile is one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. A large saltwater crocodile can exert over 3,700 pounds per square inch of pressure with its bite, enough to crush bone with ease. Interestingly, while their closing power is immense, their jaw-opening muscles are relatively weak, meaning that a crocodile's jaws can be held shut with just a few strips of tape. Their teeth are not meant for chewing, but for gripping and tearing. Crocodiles can have up to 80 teeth at a time and go through thousands of teeth in their lifetime due to constant wear and replacement. Crocodiles are also known for their unique reproductive behaviors. Unlike many reptiles, crocodiles provide parental care. Females lay their eggs in nests made of mud and vegetation, and they guard them fiercely from predators. The temperature inside the nest determines the sex of the offspring. Warmer temperatures usually produce males, while cooler ones produce females. When the eggs are ready to hatch, The young crocodiles make chirping sounds that alert the mother, who then gently helps them out of the nest and sometimes even carries them in her mouth to the water. She continues to protect them for weeks or even months after hatching. A rare trait among reptiles. Communication among crocodiles is another surprisingly sophisticated area. They use vocalizations, body language, and chemical cues to interact with one another. Young crocodiles chirp to signal distress or coordinate with siblings. Adults bellow to establish territory or attract mates, and some species have been observed slapping their heads on the water surface as a form of communication. This level of social interaction is unusual for reptiles and reflects a level of intelligence and complexity often underestimated in crocodiles. Crocodiles also possess remarkable physiological traits that help them survive in their environments. Their hearts are among the most advanced in reptiles, featuring a 4-chambered structure like birds and mammals, which allows for efficient separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. They can regulate blood flow to prioritize oxygen delivery during dives, enabling them to stay submerged for extended periods, sometimes over an hour. Their lungs and metabolism allow them to function with very low oxygen levels, an advantage in both predation and avoiding detection. Thermoregulation is essential for crocodiles, as they are ectothermic or cold-blooded. They rely on external heat sources to regulate their body temperature. You'll often see crocodiles basking in the sun with their mouths open, a behavior called gaping, which helps them release excess heat. At night or during cooler times, they may retreat to warmer water or burrow into riverbanks to maintain a stable internal temperature. This need for thermoregulation influences much of their behavior, from movement to feeding patterns. Despite their fearsome reputation, crocodiles play a crucial role in maintaining healthy ecosystems. They control populations of fish and other aquatic animals, preventing overgrazing of vegetation and maintaining a balanced food web. Their nesting activities disturb soil and vegetation, creating habitats for other species. Even their leftover kills provide food for scavengers. In this way, crocodiles act as keystone species, shaping the environment in ways that benefit numerous organisms. However, the relationship between crocodiles and humans has long been complicated. In some cultures, crocodiles are revered and respected, seen as symbols of power and endurance. In others, they are feared and hunted. Human-crocodile conflict is especially common in areas where human settlements encroach upon crocodile habitats. Attacks on humans, though rare, can be deadly, particularly in areas where large species like the Nile or saltwater crocodile reside. These attacks often lead to retaliation, with crocodiles being killed or removed, which disrupts local ecosystems. Crocodile populations have also suffered from habitat destruction, pollution, and illegal hunting for their skins, which are highly valued in the leather industry. Conservation efforts have been implemented in many regions, with varying degrees of success. Protected areas, captive breeding programs, and stricter laws on hunting and trade have helped many crocodile populations recover. The American crocodile, once critically endangered, has seen a resurgence in parts of its range due to such efforts. Crocodiles continue to inspire awe and fear in equal measure. They are reminders of a time when reptiles ruled the earth, yet they are still very much a part of the modern natural world. Studying crocodiles provides valuable insights into evolution, adaptation, and ecological dynamics. They also challenge our understanding of reptilian behavior, showing intelligence, parental care, and communication previously thought to be rare or absent in cold-blooded animals. As climate change and human expansion continue to alter the planet's landscapes, the fate of crocodiles hangs in a delicate balance. Rising temperatures can skew the sex ratios of hatchlings, leading to long-term population issues. Loss of wetlands and freshwater systems threatens their habitats. Conservationists and researchers must work hand in hand with local communities to ensure that crocodiles can coexist with humans in a way that promotes safety and ecological integrity. In many places, ecotourism centered around crocodiles has become a viable alternative to hunting, offering economic incentives for preservation. Educating people about the role crocodiles play in nature and dispelling myths about them can also go a long way in fostering a more harmonious relationship. Understanding these ancient reptiles not only enriches our knowledge of the natural world, but also helps ensure that they remain part of it for generations to come. Crocodiles are not just remnants of the past. They are survivors, adaptable and powerful, still asserting their place in the wild after hundreds of millions of years. Whether gliding silently through the water or basking motionlessly on a riverbank, they command attention and respect. By learning about them and protecting their habitats, we preserve not only a species, but a living connection to Earth's distant past and a key to its future biodiversity. Crocodiles exhibit an astonishing variety across the different species, each adapted to thrive in its own ecological niche. The saltwater crocodile, also known as Crocodilus porosus, is the largest and most aggressive of all crocodilian species. Found throughout Southeast Asia, northern Australia, and parts of India, this giant is capable of traversing vast distances across open oceans thanks to its salt glands, which help expel excess salt from the body. These glands are located in their tongues and are highly efficient, making the saltwater crocodile one of the few reptiles truly capable of marine life. Despite its preference for brackish waters and coastal areas, it often moves up rivers and into freshwater habitats as well, where it reigns as a top predator. The Nile crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, is another formidable species, known for its size, power, and reputation as a man-eater. It is widespread throughout sub-Saharan Africa and inhabits rivers, lakes, and marshes. The Nile crocodile has evolved to hunt a variety of prey, from fish and birds to large mammals like wildebeest and zebras. It uses a powerful combination of stealth, patience, and explosive force to secure meals. Its powerful tail not only propels it through water, but is also used to strike or unbalance prey during an ambush. Despite being feared by many, the Nile crocodile plays an important role in controlling fish populations and cleaning up carcasses in its ecosystem. The American crocodile, Crocodilus acutus, found in parts of Central and South America as well as southern Florida, is more reclusive and less aggressive than its African and Australian cousins. It prefers coastal wetlands and brackish lagoons, often nesting in sandy or muddy banks. Unlike alligators, which are often confused with crocodiles, the American crocodile has a narrower snout and is generally lighter in color. Though not as infamous for attacks, it remains a powerful predator and has adapted to coexist near urbanized areas in places like Florida, where conservation efforts have helped bolster its numbers after years of decline. The gharial, or Gavialis. Gangeticus is a highly specialized species found primarily in the river systems of India and Nepal. Its long, narrow snout and numerous sharp teeth are perfectly adapted for catching fish, its primary food source. Unlike most crocodiles, the gharial has weak limbs and is poorly suited for movement on land. Instead, it spends most of its time in water and uses its strong tail for propulsion. The male gharial has a distinctive bulbous growth on the tip of its snout, known as a gara, which is thought to be used for vocalization and attracting mates. Unfortunately, this unique species is critically endangered due to habitat loss, dam construction, and overfishing, which have drastically reduced its range. Another fascinating crocodilian is the dwarf crocodile, Osteolaemus tetraspis, native to the rainforests of West and Central Africa. As the name implies, It is one of the smallest species, rarely exceeding 5 feet in length. It leads a more secretive life, often hiding in burrows during the day and emerging at night to hunt frogs, insects, and small fish. Its smaller size and elusive nature make it less well known than other crocodiles, but it is still an important part of its ecosystem, contributing to the control of small prey populations and serving as a food source for larger predators. Crocodilian anatomy is a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Their skin, covered in thick, bony plates known as osteoderms, acts as a form of body armor, offering protection against attacks and environmental hazards. These scales are not just passive defense mechanisms. They also assist with thermoregulation by absorbing and retaining heat. Their eyes possess a vertical slit pupil and a reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum, enhancing night vision and making them formidable nocturnal hunters. Additionally, a clear protective membrane called the nictitating membrane covers their eyes underwater, allowing them to see clearly while submerged. Crocodile ears are hidden behind slits and are capable of detecting a wide range of sounds, including infrasound vibrations. Their sense of smell is keen, allowing them to detect prey or carrion from great distances. Their tongues are immobile and attached to the roof of their mouths, which helps prevent water from entering their throats while submerged. Crocodiles also possess a palatal valve, a flap of skin at the back of the throat that seals off the airway when they open their mouths underwater, enabling them to seize prey without drowning. Their circulatory system is highly advanced, capable of shunting blood away from the lungs when underwater to conserve oxygen. This system is controlled by a unique feature called the foramen of Panizza, a small opening between the left and right aortic arches. It allows crocodiles to reroute blood in a way that maximizes efficiency during dives. This adaptation, along with their ability to reduce their heart rate to just a few beats per minute, enables them to stay hidden beneath the surface for long periods, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. One often overlooked aspect of crocodilian biology is their ability to digest nearly everything they eat, including bones, hooves, and shells. Their stomach acid is among the most potent in the animal kingdom, capable of breaking down tough materials that many other predators would struggle with. This allows crocodiles to extract maximum nutrients from their food, a vital trait in environments where meals may be infrequent. They are also capable of going months without eating, especially during cooler months when their metabolism slows significantly in terms of lifespan. Crocodiles are long-lived animals. Many species can live for over 70 years in the wild, and some individuals in captivity have reached or exceeded 100 years. Their slow growth and long lifespan make them vulnerable to population pressures, as it takes many years for them to reach sexual maturity and begin reproducing. This is one of the reasons why overhunting and habitat loss have had such severe impacts on many species. Despite being apex predators, crocodiles are not invulnerable. Young crocodiles face numerous threats from birds, fish, snakes, and even other crocodiles. Less than 1% of hatchlings typically survive to adulthood. This high mortality rate is why females lay dozens of eggs at a time and are so protective of their nests and young. Once they reach adulthood, however, their only real threats come from humans and occasionally larger crocodiles during territorial disputes. Some crocodile species engage in basking behavior communally, forming groups along riverbanks or lake shores. These gatherings are not social in the way mammals interact, but are driven by environmental needs such as heat, regulation, and access to basking sites. However, crocodiles do recognize individual members of their species and have been known to establish dominance hierarchies, particularly in areas where space or resources are limited. Interestingly, there are reports of crocodiles exhibiting learned behaviors and even a limited form of tool use. In some areas, Crocodiles have been observed balancing sticks on their snouts during bird nesting season, waiting motionless beneath overhanging branches. When birds approach to collect nesting material, the crocodile seizes the opportunity. This suggests a level of planning and environmental awareness that challenges previous assumptions about reptilian intelligence. Crocodiles also hold cultural and spiritual significance in many societies. Ancient Egyptians revered the Nile crocodile and even mummified them, associating them with the god Sobek, who represented strength, fertility, and protection. In parts of Australia, Aboriginal Dreamtime stories speak of the crocodile as both a feared hunter and a wise guardian of water. In Southeast Asia and Africa, crocodiles feature in folktales, art, and local traditions, often symbolizing both danger and divine power. Today, crocodiles continue to capture the imagination of people worldwide. They are featured in documentaries, zoos, and wildlife parks, serving as ambassadors for wetland conservation. While they are often portrayed as mindless killers, a deeper look reveals them to be complex and highly adapted creatures, deserving of respect and protection. Their continued existence is a testament to the resilience of life and the intricate balance of ecosystems. By studying crocodiles, scientists not only learn more about ancient life forms and evolutionary biology, but also gain insights into modern conservation challenges. Protecting crocodiles means protecting wetlands, rivers, and all the life that depends on those ecosystems. With growing awareness and coordinated efforts, there is hope that crocodiles will continue to thrive both in the wild and in our collective imagination for centuries to come. Crocodiles' role in the balance of aquatic ecosystems cannot be overstated. As apex predators, they help regulate populations of fish and other animals, preventing any one species from dominating and disrupting the ecological balance. For example, by keeping fish numbers in check, crocodiles prevent overgrazing on aquatic vegetation, which in turn helps maintain water quality and provides habitat for a wide range of species. Their nesting activities disturb riverbanks and promote vegetation growth, which can benefit other animals that rely on these environments. In this way, the presence of crocodiles often signals a healthy, functioning ecosystem. Their ecological value is being increasingly recognized in scientific and conservation communities. In places where crocodiles have been reintroduced or their numbers have been allowed to recover, improvements in wetland health and biodiversity have often followed. However, the benefits crocodiles bring to their ecosystems are frequently overshadowed by the dangers they pose to people, especially in regions where human populations live in close proximity to crocodile habitats. Understanding crocodile behavior is key to reducing conflict. Most attacks on humans occur when people inadvertently enter crocodile territory, particularly during breeding season when the animals are more territorial and aggressive. Educating local communities on how to avoid dangerous encounters, such as staying away from water at dusk and dawn, or using crocodile-safe enclosures for fishing and bathing, can greatly reduce the number of incidents. Modern technology is also playing a role in crocodile conservation and conflict prevention. GPS tracking devices have been attached to crocodiles to monitor their movements and learn more about their range, behavior, and nesting sites. This information helps scientists design better conservation strategies and provides early warnings to nearby communities when a known crocodile enters a populated area. Drones, camera traps, and thermal imaging are also being used to track crocodile populations and study their habits without disturbing them. Captive breeding programs have been vital in rescuing some crocodile species from the brink of extinction. For example, a Philippine crocodile and the Siamese crocodile were once thought to be nearly extinct in the wild, but efforts by zoos and conservation groups have helped boost their numbers. These programs focus not just on increasing population, sizes, but also on maintaining genetic diversity, ensuring the animals released into the wild are healthy and able to survive independently. In some countries, crocodile farming has become a significant industry, providing skins and meat for commercial use. When done sustainably and regulated properly, crocodile farming can take pressure off wild populations by reducing illegal hunting. However, it also raises ethical questions about animal welfare and the risks of escaped individuals. Establishing populations outside their native ranges. Tourism has emerged as another means of both promoting crocodile conservation and generating income for local communities. In regions like Northern Australia, Southern Africa, and Central America, crocodile watching tours have become popular, allowing visitors to safely observe these animals in their natural habitats. These activities not only foster a sense of appreciation for crocodiles, but also create financial incentives to preserve their habitats rather than convert them for agriculture or development. Local guides, many of whom grew up around crocodiles, often play a crucial role in educating tourists and spreading awareness about the importance of conservation. Beyond biology and conservation, crocodiles have inspired numerous myths, legends, and misconceptions. The phrase crocodile tears, for example, comes from the ancient belief that crocodiles weep while eating their prey, a metaphor for false or insincere emotion. In reality, crocodiles do produce tears, but not from sadness. These tears help lubricate their eyes and flush out irritants. Crocodiles have also been wrongly labeled as mindless killers, but scientific research has revealed that they are capable of complex behaviors like strategic hunting, long-term memory, and even cooperative feeding in some situations. In fact, there have been observations of crocodiles coordinating attacks, blocking escape routes, and sharing kills with others. While not social in the way mammals are, this kind of behavior suggests a level of intelligence and learning previously underestimated. Fossil evidence reveals that today's crocodiles are the remnants of a once diverse and widespread group of reptiles. Ancient crocodilians included species that lived entirely on land, some that grew over 30 feet long, and even ones with vegetarian diets. One of the most famous prehistoric species is Dinosuchus, a giant that lived during the late Cretaceous period and could grow to lengths of up to 35 feet. This predator likely hunted dinosaurs and ruled the waterways of ancient North America. These ancient relatives highlight how adaptable and successful the crocodilian blueprint has been over millions of years. Another intriguing feature of crocodiles is their sensory system. Their jaws are lined with tiny sensory pits, known as integumentary sensory organs, or ISOs. These are extremely sensitive to pressure changes and vibrations in the water, allowing crocodiles to detect movement from prey, even in complete darkness or murky water. These sensors are so refined that they can pick up the ripples of a single drop of water hitting the surface, giving crocodiles a distinct advantage when hunting in poor visibility conditions. This unique sensory ability is unmatched by any other reptile and is one reason crocodiles are such efficient hunters. Crocodiles also possess a remarkable immune system. Studies have shown that their blood contains potent antimicrobial properties, which help them recover quickly from injuries that would likely become infected in other animals. This has intrigued scientists who are exploring crocodile blood as a possible source for developing new antibiotics or treatments for drug-resistant infections. The resilience of crocodiles in harsh environments, including bacteria-laden waters, has made them a subject of increasing interest in the field of biomedical research. The relationship between crocodiles and humans will likely remain a tense one, but it does not have to be adversarial. With education, management, and mutual respect, coexistence is possible. In many indigenous cultures, crocodiles are not just feared but honored. Stories are passed down that teach people how to respect the animal and live alongside it. These traditions offer valuable lessons in how to approach modern conservation efforts, not with domination or elimination in mind, but with balance and understanding. In urban areas near crocodile habitats, coexistence strategies include the creation of buffer zones, fencing, and relocation of problematic individuals. While relocation is not always successful, it can reduce immediate threats without resorting to killing the animals. More importantly, community involvement in crocodile management, such as local reporting hotlines, education programs, and cultural sensitivity, has proven effective in several countries. Ultimately, crocodiles remind us of a time when the world was ruled by reptiles, and their presence today serves as a powerful symbol of survival and adaptation. They are not monsters, but magnificent predators shaped by millions of years of evolution. Understanding their role, behavior, and value to the natural world is essential for their continued survival. They are part of a global heritage, an ancient lineage that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the extinction of the dinosaurs, and the transformation of the planet itself, to ensure that crocodiles remain a living part of our world, and not just a creature of myths or museums. We must continue to protect their habitats, enforce conservation laws, and encourage a global appreciation for their ecological importance. Through science, storytelling, and stewardship, we can preserve these ancient reptiles for future generations to admire, study, and respect. The reproductive process of crocodiles is as complex and fascinating as many aspects of their biology. Breeding season varies depending on the species and their geographic location, but it usually coincides with the onset of the rainy season, when water levels rise and food becomes more abundant. Males become territorial during this time, patrolling their stretches of river or swamp, and fending off rival males with aggressive displays, bellowing roars, and physical combat. These confrontations can be brutal, involving slamming, biting, and wrestling until one male asserts dominance. The victorious male is then free to mate with receptive females within his territory. Courtship behavior in crocodiles includes nuzzling, rubbing snouts, vocalizations, and swimming side by side. While they may seem violent and primitive, crocodiles are capable of displaying remarkable gentleness during mating interactions. Copulation takes place in the water and can last several minutes, after which the female begins preparing a nest. Nest construction depends on the species. Some build mound nests out of vegetation, which generates heat as it decomposes and incubates the eggs. Others dig holes in sandy banks where solar radiation provides warmth. A female may lay anywhere from 20 to 80 eggs, and she guards the nest with incredible dedication, remaining nearby and aggressively deterring predators like monitor lizards, birds, and even humans. Incubation lasts about 70 to 90 days, depending on the species and ambient temperature. During this time, the sex of the developing embryos is determined by temperature. This phenomenon, called temperature-dependent sex determination, means that even small changes in nest temperature can result in skewed sex ratios among hatchlings. Warmer temperatures typically produce males, while cooler temperatures produce females. This trait is especially concerning in the context of climate change, where rising temperatures may lead to heavily male-dominated populations that could eventually impact breeding success. As the embryos reach full development, the hatchlings begin to chirp from inside their eggs. These vocalizations prompt the mother to help dig up the nest and carry the young in her mouth to the water. This is one of the most touching and surprising behaviors exhibited by any reptile. The mother continues to protect her young for several weeks or even months after hatching. She responds to their distress calls and may transport them in her jaws or keep them close by in a shallow nursery area. Despite her efforts, only a small percentage of hatchlings survive to adulthood, falling prey to predators such as birds, fish, snakes, and even adult crocodiles. The survivors grow slowly and must avoid threats both in the water and on land until they reach a size where they are less vulnerable. Growth in crocodiles is indeterminate, meaning they continue to grow throughout their lives, though at a slower rate once they reach maturity. The rate of growth is influenced by environmental conditions, food availability, and individual genetics. In captivity, crocodiles tend to grow faster due to a consistent food supply and lack of predators. In the wild, however, growth can be stunted during dry seasons or times of scarcity. Large individuals are typically older, sometimes decades old, and have survived numerous challenges to reach such sizes. Crocodile populations are monitored through a variety of methods. Scientists conduct nighttime spotlight surveys where eyeshine is used to count individuals along watercourses. Aerial surveys using helicopters or drones provide broader assessments of populations across large river systems or floodplains. Tagging and tracking using radio transmitters or GPS devices allows researchers to study movement patterns, home ranges, and habitat use. Such data is vital for developing effective conservation strategies and understanding how crocodiles interact with their environment. Crocodiles face numerous threats in the modern world. Habitat destruction is perhaps the most serious, as wetlands are drained for agriculture, urban expansion, and infrastructure projects. Pollution from agricultural runoff, mining, and industrial waste contaminates the water bodies crocodiles depend on, affecting their health and reducing the availability of prey. Invasive species, such as certain fish and plants, can disrupt aquatic ecosystems, while damming rivers alters natural flow regimes and breeding cycles. These changes can lead to declining crocodile numbers, particularly in species with limited ranges or specialized habitat requirements. Illegal hunting still persists in some regions, where crocodile skin fetches high prices on the black market. While crocodile farming has reduced some of this pressure, it has also introduced risks of genetic dilution and disease transmission when farmed. Individuals are released into the wild. In some cases, the farming industry has focused only on a few commercially valuable species, neglecting others that may be more vulnerable. Effective conservation requires a broader approach that considers the ecological needs and genetic diversity of all crocodile populations. Crocodiles also serve as indicators of environmental health. Because they are top predators, any toxins or pollutants in the ecosystem tend to accumulate in their bodies, a phenomenon known as biomagnification. Studying crocodile health can reveal the presence of pollutants such as heavy metals or pesticides, making them useful bioindicators. This information can inform policy decisions and guide remediation efforts in affected habitats. Despite their ancient appearance and sometimes terrifying reputation, crocodiles are capable of remarkable resilience. They have survived mass extinctions, ice ages, and continental drift. But their continued survival in the modern world will depend on human action. Conservationists emphasize the importance of preserving large, connected wetlands and maintaining natural flow regimes in rivers. Protecting nesting sites, especially from disturbance during the critical breeding season, is also essential. Community involvement is key, particularly in rural or indigenous areas, where local people have coexisted with crocodiles for generations. Integrating traditional knowledge with modern science can yield powerful strategies for long-term protection. Educational programs play a critical role in changing public perception of crocodiles. When people understand that crocodiles are not mindless killers but intelligent, ecologically valuable animals, attitudes begin to shift. Schools, wildlife parks, documentaries, and social media all contribute to raising awareness and promoting coexistence. As ecotourism grows, visitors who observe crocodiles in the wild often come away with a newfound respect for these animals, becoming advocates for their protection. In the end, crocodiles are not just relics of the past, but key players in the present-day ecosystems they inhabit. Their presence helps regulate food webs, shape landscapes, and support biodiversity. They embody the success of natural selection, the raw power of evolution, and the mystery of Earth's ancient history. Whether gliding silent through murky waters or basking in the sun along a riverbank, crocodiles represent a bridge between the ancient world and the modern one. Protecting them is not only a duty to the natural world, but also an opportunity to preserve a living legacy that has endured for over 200 million years. As we look to the future, it is essential to ensure that crocodiles do not disappear from the wild due to ignorance, fear, or greed. Their story is far from over. With continued research, responsible stewardship, and global cooperation, these magnificent reptiles can continue to thrive in their natural habitats. Crocodiles have endured longer than most species on Earth. If we are wise enough to learn from their resilience and respect their role in the environment, we may ensure that they remain a part of our world for generations to come. The relationship between crocodiles and climate change is becoming increasingly important in conservation discussions. Rising global temperatures are having direct and indirect effects on crocodile populations. One of the most pressing issues is the impact on sex determination in embryos. As mentioned earlier, crocodiles rely on temperature-dependent sex determination, meaning that even slight changes in nest temperature can influence the sex ratio of hatchlings. With global temperatures on the rise, many nests are producing predominantly male offspring. Over time, this imbalance can lead to severe reproductive challenges for populations, especially in isolated areas where genetic diversity is already limited. In addition to skewed sex ratios, climate change is altering rainfall patterns and seasonal cycles. In many regions, crocodiles rely on predictable wet and dry seasons to time their breeding and nesting activities. If the rains come too early or too late, or if they are heavier or lighter than usual, it can disrupt nesting sites, flood eggs, or dry out critical habitats before young crocodiles are ready to disperse. These environmental shifts put extra stress on populations already struggling with habitat degradation, pollution, and human conflict. Furthermore, extreme weather events like cyclones, floods, and droughts are becoming more frequent and severe. These events can wipe out entire nesting grounds, strand crocodiles in unsuitable areas, or isolate them from essential resources. In coastal regions, rising sea levels threaten to inundate estuarine and mangrove habitats, pushing crocodiles into less optimal environments or into closer proximity with humans, increasing the risk of conflict. While crocodiles are adaptable and capable of tolerating a wide range of conditions, the pace of current environmental change may exceed their ability to adjust naturally. The spread of invasive species, also driven in part by climate shifts, poses another problem. Invasive plants like water hyacinth can clog rivers and lakes, reducing oxygen levels and altering the composition of aquatic ecosystems. Some invasive fish species compete with crocodiles for food or prey on young hatchlings. These ecosystem changes can reduce the availability of prey and affect crocodile health, particularly in smaller or more fragmented populations. In some areas, diseases and parasites that once were limited by temperature or geography are now expanding their ranges, bringing new threats to crocodile populations. To mitigate these risks, conservationists are exploring strategies that include protecting climate-resilient habitats, managing nesting temperatures through artificial shading or relocation, and developing habitat corridors that allow crocodiles to move in response to environmental changes. Some projects are experimenting with incubators that mimic natural conditions, but allow better control over sex ratios, ensuring a more balanced population structure. Long-term monitoring of nesting success, hatchling survival, and population demographics is essential to adapt these strategies over time. Another important area of research involves the genetic diversity of crocodile populations. As habitats shrink and populations become more isolated, the risk of inbreeding increases. This can reduce resilience to disease, lower reproductive success, and make populations more vulnerable to extinction. Conservation breeding programs and translocation efforts must take genetic variation into account, ensuring that reintroduced or supplemented populations maintain robust gene pools. Advanced genetic techniques, including DNA fingerprinting and genome sequencing, are now being used to assess genetic health and guide breeding decisions. The intersection of crocodile conservation with human development is especially delicate. In many developing countries, growing human populations are pushing further into previously wild areas. As agriculture, roads, and settlements expand, crocodile habitats are fragmented or destroyed. Rivers are diverted for irrigation, wetlands are drained for farmland, and pollution increases as industry and population density rise. This brings humans and crocodiles into closer and more frequent contact, raising the chances of conflict. Fishermen, farmers, and children are at risk, particularly in regions where access to clean water is limited and people depend on rivers and lakes for daily needs. To address these challenges, some regions have implemented crocodile management zones where certain areas are designated for human use and others for crocodile conservation. These zones may include warning signs, fencing, safe water access points, and active monitoring of known crocodile individuals. Relocation programs are also used in cases where crocodiles repeatedly venture into populated areas. While relocation is not always successful and can be stressful for the animals, it is often seen as a more humane and ecologically responsible alternative to culling. Public education is perhaps the most effective long-term tool for reducing human-crocodile conflict. In areas where people understand crocodile behavior, risks, and safe practices, incidents decrease significantly. Schools, community meetings, radio programs, and social media campaigns can all be used to spread knowledge about how to avoid crocodile attacks, recognize crocodile habitats, and report sightings to authorities. Empowering local communities to participate in monitoring and conservation also fosters a sense of stewardship and shared responsibility. Crocodiles also present an opportunity for scientific discovery. Their immune systems are being studied for insights into antimicrobial resistance. Their muscle physiology and ability to function with low oxygen levels are of interest to medical researchers studying strokes and heart conditions. Their sensory systems may provide models for designing sensitive underwater detection devices or improving prosthetic vision. Every aspect of their biology holds potential applications beyond wildlife science, offering benefits to human health and technology. As climate change and human expansion continue to reshape the world, the story of crocodiles is a microcosm of broader environmental challenges. Their survival depends not only on their own adaptability, but also on human choices. Preserving wetlands, enforcing environmental regulations, reducing carbon emissions, and supporting conservation science are all part of the broader effort to protect species like crocodiles and the ecosystems they represent. In some places, local beliefs and taboos have helped protect crocodiles. In parts of West Africa, crocodiles are considered sacred and are not harmed or hunted. Entire communities live peacefully alongside crocodile populations, believing them to be the reincarnations of ancestors or guardians of water sources. These cultural traditions offer powerful examples of coexistence and can be integrated into modern conservation programs. By respecting local customs and involving communities in decision-making, conservation efforts become more sustainable and culturally appropriate. The global nature of crocodile conservation means that international cooperation is essential. Crocodiles do not recognize political boundaries, and their habitats often span multiple countries. Treaties such as the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, regulate the international trade of crocodile skins and products, helping to ensure that such trade is sustainable and legal. International research collaborations, funding programs, and knowledge-sharing platforms help scientists and conservationists coordinate their work across regions and species. Looking ahead, the future of crocodiles will likely involve a combination of protected areas, community-based conservation, scientific research, and global advocacy. Each element supports the others, creating a network of resilience that mirrors the strength and adaptability of the crocodiles themselves. As sentinels of wetland health, crocodiles remind us that protecting this biodiversity is not just about saving animals, but about maintaining the integrity of the planet we all share. They are more than just predators. They are survivors, teachers, and symbols of an ancient resilience. In every ripple of water where they glide unseen, in every hidden nest buried under sand or vegetation, in every bellow that echoes through the swamp, crocodiles continue to live out a story that began long before humans walked the earth. Whether we allow that story to continue is entirely up to us. In the broader picture of biodiversity, crocodiles serve as a vital link to understanding how ecosystems function, how ancient evolutionary traits persist in the modern world, and how apex predators shape the environments around them. Their continued existence is not only important for the sake of preserving a single, iconic species, but also for the countless ecological processes they help regulate. Wetlands, rivers, and estuaries where crocodiles thrive are among the most productive and biodiverse ecosystems on Earth. These habitats provide food, shelter, and breeding grounds for birds, mammals, amphibians, insects, and an array of aquatic life. When crocodile populations are healthy, it's often a sign that the surrounding ecosystem is in balance. When they decline, it usually signals that the broader web of life in that habitat is also under threat. Crocodiles challenge many traditional assumptions about reptiles. Long believed to be little more than instinct-driven predators, they've demonstrated cognitive abilities that hint at more complex intelligence. Their parental care is one of the most remarkable behaviors in the reptile world. A female crocodile doesn't just lay her eggs and abandon them as many other reptiles do. She carefully selects the nesting site, guards it vigilantly for months, and then responds to her hatchlings' calls by digging them out and carrying them to water in her mouth. For weeks or months afterward, she may protect the nursery area, keep her young close, and intervene when threats appear. This level of care requires memory, attentiveness, and risk-taking that few cold-blooded animals display. It is a testament to the evolutionary advantages of parental investment, even among creatures considered to be ancient and unchanging. In addition to maternal care, crocodiles have shown strategic hunting behavior that includes stalking prey, using deceptive tactics, and even hunting in coordination. They have been observed lying motionless with sticks balanced on their snouts during bird nesting season, luring stick-gathering birds within striking range. This behavior is an example of tool use, an ability once thought exclusive to primates and certain birds. In the wild, crocodiles have also been seen herding schools of fish together, creating a wall with their bodies to trap the prey. While they are not social animals in the mammalian sense, these occasional moments of cooperative action suggest a level of cognition far beyond what many would expect. Crocodiles also have excellent memory. In areas where they've been fed or harassed by humans, they remember the experience and can associate particular locations or individuals with food or danger. This memory contributes to their survival and sometimes to conflict with humans, as crocodiles may return repeatedly to familiar areas. It also suggests that crocodiles can learn from their environment and modify their behavior based on experience, a hallmark of intelligent life. Physiologically, crocodiles are marvels of endurance. Their ability to go months without food, remain submerged for over an hour, and survive in low oxygen environments makes them remarkably resilient. Their four-chambered heart allows for efficient oxygen management, while a special valve system reroutes blood flow during dives. Their skin, covered in armored scales, is resistant not only to physical damage, but also to infection. Studies of crocodile blood have revealed powerful antimicrobial peptides that help them survive injuries in bacteria-rich waters. These findings have prompted interest in potential medical applications, including developing new antibiotics or wound treatments for humans. Even their jaws, which generate some of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom, are designed with precision. While the closing muscles are incredibly strong, the opening muscles are relatively weak. This allows researchers and conservationists to safely secure a crocodile's jaws with minimal restraint, making field studies and medical interventions possible. Inside those powerful jaws, the teeth are designed not for chewing, but for gripping and tearing. Crocodiles swallow their food in large chunks and rely on strong stomach acids to digest even bones and hooves. Communication is another area where crocodiles defy expectations. Vocalizations are used at every stage of life, from hatchling distress, calls to adult bellows that signal territory, attract mates, or establish dominance. Low-frequency bellows can even cause surface vibrations in water, possibly serving as a form of long-distance communication. In captivity, crocodiles have shown the ability to recognize individual keepers, respond to routine feeding cues, and even exhibit distinct personalities. Some are bold and aggressive, while others are shy or more tolerant of humans. This individuality further underscores the idea that crocodiles are not just uniform, instinct-driven predators, but animals with rich behavioral repertoires. Yet, despite all of their strengths and adaptations, crocodiles remain vulnerable. Their habitats are under constant pressure from deforestation, agriculture, pollution, and climate change. Nesting sites are lost to coastal development. Rivers are dammed and rerouted, isolating populations and making seasonal migrations impossible. Climate-induced temperature shifts alter the sex ratios of hatchlings. Invasive species compete for food or destroy the vegetation crocodiles need to nest. Human fear and misunderstanding often lead to indiscriminate killing, even when crocodiles pose no real threat. Education is crucial in bridging the gap between fear and understanding. In areas where crocodile attacks have occurred, panic can lead to misguided eradication efforts. By teaching communities how to coexist with crocodiles by avoiding dangerous areas at key times, using protective barriers for water access, and understanding crocodile behavior, many attacks can be prevented. Conservation organizations around the world are working with local leaders, schools, and governments to promote safe practices, while also emphasizing the ecological value of crocodiles. In several countries, ecotourism centered around crocodiles has become a successful conservation tool. Tourists are eager to see these ancient animals in the wild, and guided river safaris, educational tours, and wildlife viewing platforms create both awareness and revenue. This income supports local economies and gives communities a vested interest in preserving crocodile habitats. When people can earn a living by protecting crocodiles rather than hunting them, the incentive shifts toward conservation. Research continues to uncover new facets of crocodile life. Genetic studies are revealing how different populations are related, where hybridization occurs, and how isolated populations may be at greater risk. Tagging and tracking initiatives provide data on movement patterns, home ranges, and habitat use. Behavioral studies help refine understanding of social structures and learning capacity. Every year, crocodiles continue to surprise researchers with their resilience, complexity, and adaptability. Some conservationists have proposed rewilding programs using crocodiles. In areas where ecosystems have suffered from the loss of large predators, reintroducing crocodiles could help restore balance. This idea, while controversial, underscores just how important these animals are to the function of their ecosystems. Their presence prevents overpopulation of prey species, supports scavengers, and even shapes the physical landscape through their nesting and basking behaviors. Culturally, crocodiles remain potent symbols across the globe. In mythology, folklore, and art, they have represented danger, strength, wisdom, and guardianship. From the river gods of ancient Egypt to the sacred crocodile ponds of Burkina Faso, from Aboriginal Dreamtime stories to Southeast Asian temple carvings, crocodiles have long held a place in the human imagination. They are creatures of contrast, silent and explosive, ancient and adaptable, feared and revered. Their story is not one of stagnation, but of quiet endurance. Crocodiles have outlived the dinosaurs, survived ice ages, and watched the rise and fall of continents. They adapted not by becoming something radically new, but by refining the tools that work patience, power, stealth, and resilience. Their survival is a lesson in the strength of staying the course, of finding a niche and mastering it completely. In a world that is changing faster than ever before, crocodiles stand as a reminder of what it means to persist. Their continued presence depends on us, on our willingness to understand rather than destroy, to protect rather than fear, to share rather than exclude. They are more than relics of a prehistoric age. They are guardians of rivers, sculptors of ecosystems, and ambassadors of Earth's wild. Untamed past. To let them disappear would be to sever one of the last living ties we have to a world it once was. To protect them is to say that the ancient still has value, that the fierce can coexist with the fragile, and that survival, true survival, is not only about domination, but about balance. The future of crocodiles lies not in the murky depths of forgotten swamps, but in our collective awareness, our decisions, and our respect for the world we share. And so the crocodile remains, watchful beneath the water, powerful in the silence, a creature that does not ask for sympathy or sentiment, only space to exist. Whether that space endures will depend on what we choose to do next. The story of the crocodile is still being written. In every river bend, every nesting bank, and every glinting eye breaking the water's surface. Let us make sure it continues. Now that you've seen the power, intelligence, and ancient history behind crocodiles, the question isn't just how they've survived for millions of years, but whether we'll let them survive into the next century. These creatures are more than just predators. They're guardians of their ecosystems, living fossils that remind us of Earth's deep past. So next time you hear the word crocodile, will you think of a monster lurking in the water, or a masterpiece of evolution that still walks among us? The choice to protect them or lose them is in our hands.